Hey Taurus, welcome to my channel. This is Venus Baby Tarot, and today I'm just going to give you your daily vibe check reading from Spirit. So let's go ahead and see what Spirit has in store for you, Taurus. So it's been quite an interesting week already if you haven't been paying attention to what's going on in the news. We just entered the Mercury retrograde shadow period and of course we had the Mars and Uranus conjunction in Taurus this week, and so we're already starting to see like cyber attacks and shutdowns and all kind of stuff, like, you know, planes getting delayed and that kind of thing, and it's just been an interesting week so far. I feel like this is pretty much gonna set the tone a little bit for how Mercury retrograde is gonna look. So, so let's just go ahead and see what happens. I guess that's all we can really do. Okay, sorry, I had to pause to put stickers over these individuals, even though, I mean, really, they're just like Barbie dolls and they don't actually they're not anatomically correct. I just went ahead and put stickers on, you know, what would be parts, just to be on the safe side because of community guidelines and all of that, Taurus. So, okay, you have the liver meridian, you have the lung meridian. I love this new deck, by the way. It's called the Subtle Body deck. And you also have balance, which is your crown chakra. And you have quest, which is your throat chakra. So we're going to see how that unfolds in your in your vibe, in your reading today. So, I mean, you are getting like planning and action and life force and spirit with this quest. So, I mean, I definitely am getting the sense that, you know, there is a quest, there is like a plan that you are making at this time. Spirit, I feel like, is telling you to just step into it, trust the process, see how this unfolds, and that kind of thing. So, all right, I'm going to pull from the top. You got the Emperor, that's your energy. You have the Nine of Wands and you have the Empress. Very interesting. Two of Wands, Two of Swords, and the Nine of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. The Page of Pentacles was kind of poking out, so we definitely see how this is unfolding in your vibe today. Because look, actually I'm going to put this one here. Sometimes I feel, you know how like we've talked about this before with like delays that we experience in life, and sometimes there's a spiritual purpose for it. And that, I mean, if you're delayed at the airport, for instance, I mean, sometimes it could be about trying to, you know, appreciate the present moment, find something that's just going to bring you happiness, or to take a time out, like take some time to rest, right? With that Hanged Man. I am getting the sense that, you know, Spirit is kind of telling you that balance is needed in your life. I feel like, Taurus, you are kind of in this really powerful energy with that Emperor and Empress. It is a very balanced energy between the masculine and the feminine. However, it does come with the Nine of Wands. And so I do feel like there are still some things in life that hold you back. There are still some hurdles that you've been experiencing. And I think that you are, with all of your might, everything you can muster up, you are deciding to persevere and push forward anyway. I definitely get the sense that you are refusing to be defeated by any like circumstances in your life, any upheavals or any sort of blockages that you've experienced or delays, that kind of thing. I feel like even though at times you may feel caught up, okay, because I'm looking at this Hanged Man, you may feel caught up and like there's really not much you can do about certain situations. I feel like you are kind of keeping a positive mindset about it because you are still recognizing that like this too shall pass. And when you get to the other side of this, you're going to be able to exert this powerful force that is building within you. And I also feel like you're taking the necessary time to tend to the things that you're trying to cultivate in your life so that you can plant these seeds and they will blossom and flourish in the near future. But I feel like right now, it's a waiting game. It's a bit of a waiting game for you. And so, but that your energy is absolutely gorgeous. I think really just the 9 of Wands is about you taking a look at like whatever has been in your environment, like whatever's in your environment that's holding you back, what you can control and what you can't control. There are things that are simply going to be outside of your control, to be honest with you. That's just life, right? But what you can control in your present environment is how you respond to things and how you recover. You know, and like, don't let life get you down, right? And to be honest with you, I feel like with the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, there could have been some shocking things that happened this week, but they don't necessarily have to be shocking. There could have just been some frustrating things. So you maybe have been experiencing things like delays with internet, you know, with this Mars and Uranus conjunction, pre-shadow period for Mercury retrograde. There could be issues that you're dealing with in terms of computers or just things that are really halting any sort of progress that you're trying to make in your life. And I do feel like it's just important for you to really take a look at like what you can control and what you can't control. Like there are some things that are just simply, like I said, just simply outside of our control. And I feel like, you know, just maybe even saying like this too shall pass as best as you possibly can would be, you know, amazing for you and your mental health. I feel to bring this balance for you, or not even for your mental health, but also for just your peace of mind, you know? So because this is a new deck, I actually want to look at these cards and see what they say for you guys. Okay, so the lung meridian, it says request purification along this pathway and then decide how to best focus your life force. Yeah, I definitely see that. And then the other one is the liver meridian, which says, what resentments or regrets stand in the way of right action? Focus and then forgive. Now decide your next step. See, again, like I was saying, what you can control and what you can't control. One thing we definitely can't control is other people, okay? We can't control the things that they do or the way that they behave. We can't control the way that people, you know, respond or react to situations. We definitely can't control that. But what we can control is our response to it and how we decide we're going to push through and persevere. With the Emperor and the Empress, this could be in a relationship, for instance. Like maybe you're noticing some triggered wounds and that kind of thing that are surfacing, or maybe even noticing some patterns and that kind of thing. But I am getting the sense that you are being guided to focus on what you need to do for you and what action steps you can take towards, you know, uplifting your life force and your spirit that is individual of these situations, whether or not it is in terms of relationships, delays at work, delays at school, delays with traffic, or any kind of upheavals that you've been experiencing, that kind of thing. Like, how can you uplift your own spirit? You know, how can you be resilient? Because the 9 of Wands can represent our past wounding and things like that, or our past battles, because in the traditional Rider-Waite, the person in the 9 of Wands is standing in front of all the wands and is very beaten and, you know, tattered and bruised and that kind of thing. Like, obviously this person has been to battle, but this person is standing up and ready to try again. And I do get the sense, like with this card, like that even though the fires are ablaze, and with that volcano that can signify like unexpected eruptions in your life, this person looks very strong and very capable to overcome these challenges, right? And I do feel like that is this balance that seems to be coming through with you, with that, Emperor and the Empress, like the balance of your masculine and feminine energies. Like, you're not being hard on yourself. You're not pushing yourself too hard. You're just taking the right amount of action, and you are focusing your energy on cultivating what you're trying to achieve in your life, however big or small these things may be, and just tending to your own garden with that Empress energy. Like tending to your own garden could be focusing on your peace of mind. Like, how can you uplift your life force and your spirit? Right here is the lung meridian is talking about. This person looks overjoyed, right? This person looks very free. And even I'm also just getting like relieved, because like when you think of somebody who's carrying around a lot of burdens, they're hunched over. But this person is flinging their arms and feet back and looks very relieved of any challenges or burdens that she is experiencing, right? And so I do feel like also I wanted to say, it does say request purification. So purifying yourself of any outside energies that don't actually have anything to do with you, or like are, a person in your life's problems. Like, okay, how do I explain this? So you can help people and you can be receptive and understanding and empathetic without taking on other people's problems and making them your problems. You know what I mean? And so I do feel like, that is why Spirit is saying request the purification, so that you can balance yourself with that crown chakra. Like, you can balance your own mind even. You can have peace of mind, because I am feeling like Spirit is telling you refocus your energy back to yourself, tend to your own garden with that Empress, because you are trying to cultivate things in your life. Like, you're trying to make some magic in your own life right now. And your energy does not need to be divided elsewhere. Excuse me. So with the Hanged Man, I feel like this can also be about you seeing a different perspective, like your eyes kind of opening up to seeing a new way, right? So what you need to know about situations in your life right now, you have the Two of Wands. Of course you have the Two of Wands. Like, Taurus has had the Two of Wands so much lately, like it's absolutely astounding to me. And I feel, and you notice that the volcano is erupting, right? And I do feel for you, Taurus, that typically it's coming out as like you have more than one path that you're considering, and you're just kind of caught in the middle, not entirely sure of which road to take. And that's kind of true still in this, with this card right here. But I feel like this is also more about like whatever's not working out, whatever disasters, eruptions, etc. Are you going to look over that way and give that your attention? Or are you going to look over here where the sky is clear, things are more peaceful, and, refocus your energy? I think that ultimately the choice is up to you. And I think that, with that Two of Swords and the Nine of Swords, I really kind of get the sense that there's even a little bit of guilt even. You feel guilt if you back down. Like, you feel guilt if you step back, okay? If you take a step back, and if you refocus your energy on what you're trying, your own quest, okay? Your own quest right here. And I feel like ultimately Spirit wants you to know that it's not necessarily always your job to solve the problems of everyone around you. And this can be in work. Like, I feel like, those of you that this is in regards to work, like you may feel like everybody comes to you for all the problems. Like, you're the fixer. You're always the one with all the answers. You're doing the work that everybody else isn't doing. Like, you're surrounded by people who don't know how to think for themselves, and you feel this sort of obligation to, step up and be all a part of everything, because what do Tauruses do? Like, you're a bull, so you protect the herd, right? Like, you want to make sure that the whole herd is going to be okay. This could be in your family life as well. And I feel like what it does is it robs you of the opportunity to really focus your energy on yourself and your own quest and what you're trying to cultivate in your life, what you're trying to create, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, right? And like, that's the thing too, is that, I noticed for me personally, as I look back on my past, I was always the sort of savior in the family, I guess you could say. And I spent so much time in my life, like cleaning up the messes of everybody else's problems, that I missed out on other opportunities in my life. And it was, you know, in hindsight, it's kind of frustrating, but at the same time, I do feel like I've learned a lot about myself, and I've grown a lot more as a person than I probably would have had I not gone through that experience and realized that I can't do that anymore, right? So I feel like, you know, something that spirit is also saying to you is don't get roped into other people's pathologies as much as you can. Because I mean, and I feel like you feel this sense of guilt about it. Like you feel like you kind of like you have to, like you're betraying them in some fashion if you take a step back, you know. And I feel like you want to fight for people, you want to show up for people regardless of who these individuals are. Like you want to do that for others. But I feel like also spirit wants you to ask yourself, like, what if you just took a step back? You didn't you just released any need to fix or control a situation, and you let spirit step in and the situation work itself out. You know, like something that I have found in my life, because I used to think that I was such a fixer that I felt like I needed to be a part of everything, right? And I just learned to step back a little bit, especially with younger siblings, and step back. And I watched them. They were capable. They were capable of fixing their own lives. They were just used to me doing it. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's what spirit wants you to know, is that problems actually can work themselves out. Spirit can work this out, and that you don't have to always be a part of it, and you can release your guilt about it, okay? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we talk about this all the time. If you don't focus on yourself and your own energy and what you need to do for you, and that includes your health, your mental health, your alone time, because I know Tauruses need alone time. I need a lot of alone time, right? Think of a bull grazing in a field. That's what you need. Like, that's what you need for your spirit, right? And like, you know, whatever, if you don't have these things is what I'm trying to say. If you don't have these things, then you're completely zapped of your energy. And then you feel like your solar plexus is drained because you're so used to, or you're just so used to lifting up everybody else around you and raising up the herd around you, whether or not, like I said, it's your family, it's your friends, it's your partner, it's your community, it's your job, whatever. You're so used to doing that, that, you know, your solar plexus is zapped because you're not able to give that energy to yourself. You're lifting up all these other individuals, and you don't have time to lift your own self up. It's kind of like this. It's like, you know, say you really want to go to the gym, okay? But you don't actually ever have time to go to the gym. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who will be like, well, you make time. And while that can be true, and I'm not going to negate that in any fashion whatsoever, but if you have a lot of responsibilities and people are always coming to you and somebody always needs this and that and whatever, you can get very locked into that pattern, and it can be difficult to break outside of that pattern because of the guilt associated with it. Like, you feel bad about going to do something for yourself because you feel like you're always needed in some capacity, right? And so in order for you to quote unquote make time, you have to set certain boundaries and stop focusing your energy on the destruction or on the, you know, chaos around you, things that ultimately I feel like you cannot control 100%. You know, like, I feel like you're not spirit, right? You can do your very best to help out, but sometimes I feel like, you know, we try to fix things, and we try to fix things, and they don't always get fixed because sometimes we just don't really have the capacity. And sometimes realistically, like, the problem is that the person or the people that need the fixing, or the situations that need the fixing, have to do with other individuals who don't know how to be accountable. And that's going to be the one thing that's going to make the situation better, is if they learn how to be accountable, they learn how to think for themselves, they learn how to do for themselves, they learn how to do their own job. You know what I mean? So, you know, and you kind of stand as like a blockage, right? In a sense, to their personal growth. And even though you may not think of it that way because you're just trying to help, realistically, like, if people become so reliant on you doing everything all the time, they're not going to do their job. They're going to be like, you know, oh, well, Taurus will do it, so why should I do it? You know what I mean? And then you're running yourself into the ground. And so I am getting the sense that whatever area of life this is for you, you need to take a step back. And I understand that is creating a sense of guilt within you. But I feel like Spirit wants you to know this because your energy needs to be focused on yourself. Okay, so where you're headed in this situation, you have the Nine of Pentacles, which I really love because it looks like she's actually sort of taking like almost like a ritual bath there, you know. And that's kind of how I see the Nine of Pentacles is, you know, someone who really treats herself, you know, somebody who lives a sort of lavish lifestyle, and everybody's idea of a lavish lifestyle is different. You know, for some of you, it is being able to come home and, you know, drink some tea with your cats and watch your favorite comfort shows. Others of you, it's going shopping and, you know, buying really extravagant clothing or whatever, you know, like it's really different for everybody. But at the core of it, it's going to be treating yourself, you know. And I feel like that's the energy that you're moving into, is being able to treat yourself, right? I feel like also with that Eight of Pentacles, I mean, yes, you were still working in a community, you were helping other people, right? But you were also doing it very skillfully with that Eight of Pentacles. Like you are able to give back as much as you can, but it really does seem to follow you, you know, filling your own cup, you taking care of yourself, you recentering yourself, and then you have more to give back to your community, whatever your community is. Okay, you do have the Eight of Cups here with the Five of Pentacles. So I feel like, you know, this is, you're going to leave behind whatever this conflict is within you in terms of feeling like you need to be one. It's like you feel like you need to be two different people. You know, I feel like you're going to be relieved of that and you're going to move forward because this individual is moving forward on her own. That does not mean you're leaving people behind. It just means that you're emotionally distancing yourself. And you could do it respectfully, okay? But the concern that I have is the Five of Pentacles. And I feel like, you know, I once had a therapist ask me, and she was like, do you do these things for people because you want to do them, or do you do them because you want them to like you? And yeah, that really stumped me. And I think that honestly changed the game for me, because I was like, oh, I thought I was doing all these things to help other people altruistically. And I'm not saying that it wasn't in some capacity, but at the same time, you know, I didn't know how to say no to people because I didn't want to disappoint people. I didn't want to upset people, right? And with that Five of Pentacles, I do feel like that's a little bit of that type of energy. Like, you know, you don't want to disappoint people, and then people pull their energy from you, and then they don't invest in you, they don't show up for you, they don't reach out to you, and that kind of thing. But ultimately, if that's how people respond to your boundaries, and they're just showing you the level of respect that they had for you. And I know that that's a harsh reality to face, and it's definitely a tough pill to swallow whenever you see that. Like, people only respect you and they only want to be in your presence whenever they need something from you. But it's definitely a lesson for you in terms of boundaries, and you know, like knowing when to say no to, like, in the beginning, so that you can make sure that this is a true person and they're not just somebody who's just in your life because they're trying to drain you. You know what I mean? Because that Five of Pentacles, I feel like that's exactly where you've been. Like, you've been drained. You've been depleted of all of your energetic resources, okay? And that's why you have this life force spirit energy. Like, you are needing to replenish your life force right now. And the way that you're going to do that is to treat yourself, you know, to fill your own cup. And to, you know, emotionally distance yourself or energetically distance yourself from situations without the guilt, because the way that it has been unfolding is not emotionally serving you or them, to be really honest with you. Like, it's not serving anybody for you to be for you to be the problem solver, you know, because some people need to learn how to solve their own problems. You know what I mean? And yeah, you can be there to lift them up and to support them and to be there for them, but you don't have to be like, you don't have to get sucked into other people's problems. And I think that that's the lesson here, regardless of what area of life this is, right? That's the lesson for you, is that you can be a supportive person without making other people's situations and problems your problems, right? And you don't have to step up and do other people's jobs for them. Like, it's not all gonna fall on your shoulders. Remember what I was talking about, how like somebody with a lot of burdens, the 10 of Wands, would be hunched over. That would be your energy if you continue to carry on the way that you have in terms of other people's situations. But because this is like reviving your life force and spirit with this card, to me it's you releasing yourself from that, releasing yourself from responsibilities that aren't actually your responsibility, right? And I know that especially like at work, that can be a challenge, right? Because ultimately you want the entire department or the entire business to run well and smoothly, but you also can't be carrying on or shouldering the responsibility and the burdens of other people around you, and and them not stepping up to their own potential, and them not stepping up to do the job that they're supposed to do, right? Because ultimately, where is that going to lead you, Taurus? The Five of Pentacles. Utterly drained, like utterly drained. And then honestly, you never really receive the appreciation that you deserve. And then you start to feel like maybe you're not enough. And then you have to start questioning, like, why did you do all that in the first place? And so on and so forth. There definitely does seem to be a spiritual quest here for you, I feel, in terms of elevating yourself and releasing yourself from responsibilities that are not yours, and only showing up because you want to do it, because it feels right to you, because you want to support another person, not because you feel like you have to. Right? Not because you feel obligated to, not because you feel like they'll be mad at you if you don't. You know what I mean? And that's you setting those appropriate boundaries for yourself, Taurus. You also have a quest that you're going on in your life right now. Okay? Like, you have a vision. You have things that you want to do for yourself. You have things that you're trying to work towards in your life. And it's interesting that both of these cards are 8s. And so you're trying to put your energy into something so you can see the return in it. We talked a lot about this at the beginning of the year. It's a number 8 year. So it's the infinity symbol. What you put in is going to be returned to you. It's like a boomerang, right? And so I feel like, you are trying to put your energy into something in your life so you can see the return on your investment. But I also have been feeling, and what's come out for you guys recently too, is distractions. And so I do feel like there have been other things that have been distracting you from the vision that you have and what you've been trying to create, what you've been trying to cultivate. And that's not to say that you can't sometimes take a step away from what you're trying to do to be there for other people. I'm not saying that at all. It's about balance. It's about balance. You can't be too much in their lane and not enough in yours. And you can't be too much in your lane and not enough in supporting other people in theirs. You know what I mean? Like, there's a need to find the perfect balance in this situation. You're never going to get it 100% right. Okay? It's about the intention. It's about the willingness on your part, right? But I feel like you have things that you're trying to do and you're needing to refocus your energy even just a little bit. I'm not telling you, like, don't just stop showing up for people. Like, I'd never say that. Like, I'm such a supportive person myself, and I would never say that. But there is a fine line between supporting other people and making their problems your problems, and then you don't have any energy to focus on the things that you're trying to do for yourself. You are needing to find that balance, okay? And I'm not saying that like I'm trying to point my finger and shame you or anything. I'm telling you, like, this message is coming down from spirit because it does seem to be very important, and cherish yourselves and cherish your lives. Like, you deserve your own energy too, sweet Taurus. So let's get your closing oracle message. Oh gosh, well, we just got a whole bunch of cards. You got the I Am Presence, the Truth. So I feel like even I didn't look at the scales there, like the balance, but even identifying the truth of who you are and how you see yourself, would be important. Then you have the universal light, you have love, you have self-mastery, which is literally so perfect, and you have life, okay, with flexibility on the bottom of the deck, which I feel like definitely, piggybacks off of what I was saying, like being flexible, like, not being too much in one area and not enough in, your own life, okay? But anyway, so The I am presence, I feel like is coming back home to yourself. You know, that's everything that we've been talking about. And you're really just identifying who you are as a person, how you see yourself, or even re-identifying how you see yourself. You know, if the first things that you say are like, I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm a whatever your job is, like I'm a coworker, like, and you're including other people, you may not really have a lot of time and energy for your own individuality, right? So like for me, I'm a tarot reader, you know, and this is something that I love doing. This is me pouring energy into myself and, you know, hopefully uplifting the community as well. So I feel like it's how you prioritize yourself, I feel, and how you know, you state who you are. I am this, and, you know, you make yourself a priority in those statements. So I hope that made sense, but I feel like that was important to say. The universal light for me and the love, I feel like, is, you know, the universe, while there are definitely a lot of challenging things that we go through in the world, the universe itself is an incredible, it's love, right? And it's light, and it's an incredibly loving and supportive place. You know, humans are essentially the problem, to be honest with you. But so I feel like you are, you know, giving your challenges, or giving other people's challenges over to this universal light, to this energy of the love frequency, okay? So that you're not feeling like you have to be so much a part of it and take on the problems of other people and weigh yourself down, okay? Because you do have that self-mastery card. And the self-mastery is knowing when to bring your energy back home and knowing when to give it. Ultimately, you know, and regardless of whatever it is, you know, it could be even in terms of your anger, like knowing when to get mad, and knowing, you know, when you just need to refocus your attention, but also knowing, you know, when you're going to give your actual energy to other things. And then again, like focusing on your life purpose. You are being called in a direction. You have been being called in a direction. This entire year, you have been called in a direction. I do feel like it has unfolded. Like it may have started out a little bit different than it is right now at the beginning of the year. But I do feel like there's been an unfoldment. It does seem to me that what's kind of happened for you, Taurus, is that you thought you wanted something specific, and then like as the reality, the truth really started to hit about what that meant, or why you felt like you wanted that. You know, again, it could have been influences from other people, and or just feeling like you had to in some capacity, whatever. Like once all that started to shed away, I feel like the truth of what you really felt called to do has started to surface for you. I'm saying maybe even in the last couple of months, to be honest with you, because personally, that's how I've experienced it as a Taurus. But I mean, the life purpose and destiny and quest, like all these energies have come out for Taurus like so much this year. And so I feel like you've been called towards this, right? But ultimately, there's a lot of shedding that's been needing to be done, a lot of boundaries that are needing to be placed, but additionally, shedding of your own personal restrictions and blockages. We've seen a lot of that stuff because I feel like you, Taurus, as a collective, or us Tauruses as a collective, we're harboring so many like fears and what ifs and personal restrictions, like maybe even keeping ourselves small, believing that things would, you know, that would never be possible for me, or like what makes me think I could do that, or it's going to be so hard, and how am I ever going to fit this in? How am I going to do this? How could I make this transition? What's going to happen if I do? Is everything going to fall apart? Like all of that stuff has been just shedding and shedding and shedding. And I do feel like it's been a little bit of a slow process this year, but it's all preparation for you, Taurus, you know? And so this reading is just even more preparation of you realizing, like, how do you divide your energy? And is it bringing you balance? Okay. Or look at these individuals, or are you disgruntled? Are you disgruntled because you don't have enough time for yourself? Okay, so that's what I have for you, Taurus. If you're looking for a personal session, you can book on my scheduler in the description box below. And if you like my content, I do hope you like and subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.